Howdy, 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 everyone.
Welcome back to another episode of Texish, the show about some things Texas.
And some things not.
We've got a bit of a emotionally charged episode in store for everybody today.
We're going to get into it.
Tito's and Shiner, gonna be an all-nighter, and I just might find her at the Whataburger line. Dance halls and women, but man, I'm wishing that I was fishing by the river tonight in Texas.
But first, as always, your favorite segment.
And ours.
We love doing it, even though no one's given us any money for it yet. Literally no money yet, but hopefully we'll get there one day.
They keep denying us. One day they're going to be like, you know what? We're just going to make it rain.
But still call us. You're not sponsors. Want to know who our first not sponsor is today?
Who's our first not sponsor?
Ancestral Supplements.
Ancestral Supplements.
The official dietary supplement of Roger Clemens.
Ancestral Supplements.
The official dietary supplement of Lance Armstrong. Ancestral Supplements. Is that gallbladder or gear?
Ancestral Supplements. It's not HGH.
Ancestral Supplements. It came in like a syringe last time.
Ancestral Supplements. Does it smell like shit? Probably does. Then it doesn't work.
Ancestral Supplements. Is that Liver King or a multi-level marketing scheme?
Ancestral Supplements.
Also brought to you by Intellectual Hypocrisy.
Ancestral Supplements. Do you know what our ancestors didn't take?
Ancestral Supplements. Who's our other not sponsor?
Our other not sponsor is Intellectual Hypocrisy.
Intellectual Hypocrisy.
Hey, are you a journalist?
Intellectual Hypocrisy. Do you have a blog, but you used to be a journalist?
Intellectual Hypocrisy. Hey, do you say one thing and then do another? Intellectual Hypocrisy.
Do you like openly support one thing that you don't actually do?
Intellectual Hypocrisy. Do you lack self-awareness? Have you never examined anything about yourself, your organization, or anything that you actually say you stand for? Intellectual Hypocrisy.
We're talking about Texas Month.
We're going to talk about Texas
in a minute. But before we get to
that, do you want to hear about our small town of the week?
Small town of the week.
Small town of the week. So, the recorded history of Austin, Texas began in the 1830s when the Anglo-American settlers arrived in central Texas and founded a town in 1837 called Waterloo.
Waterloo.
On the banks of the Colorado River. Now, Waterloo would eventually become the city that we know and love, Austin, Texas.
It's where we're recording right now.
It's where we're recording right now.
Shouts out Patch 6.
It was the first permanent settlement in the entire area. And this tiny little community would eventually become a bustling capital for the entire state. Mm-hmm. And that is
the capital of bachelorette party.
I mean, that's our small town of the week.
Yeah.
It had, some famous people went through there. Maribou B. Lamar was
not to be confused with Headley Lamar.
Was reported as like stopping there and hanging out there. Eventually, the town would be renamed as Austin and would start growing.
But initially, they were like Waterloo.
Like a lot of really large things, it started very small.
Yeah, small town of the week. Shouts out Waterloo. You can still
Waterloo.
go to Waterloo Ice House.
Yes, you can. You can go to Waterloo Records. If anybody in the Austin area was unaware of why we have a Waterloo Records, it has no relation to the one in London. It's because Austin used to be called Waterloo.
Used to as in centuries.
As in centuries
or
ago.
Decades. Or
no, centuries. Multiple hundred. Yeah, you're correct.
Centuries ago.
Like the Fall Out Boy
Also
song.
decade. Nice.
Thank you. Anyway, so that is our small town of the week.
Nice.
Because not all small towns stay small.
It's true. Especially if there's a railroad.
Or
if there's not a railroad.
Which there was.
There was. It's still there.
Absolutely.
Still functional.
Still functioning.
It's so weird when a train goes through Austin because you don't see them very much.
It doesn't happen a lot, yeah.
And then you're like, whoa.
I actually live right by one of the metro areas, so like there are commuter trains.
Well, that one goes all the time.
All the time, but it is interesting because we forget how many people come into the center of the city throughout the day to live and work. And
I had a coworker actually who took the metro, which was crazy. I thought people who used the metro were like just the people who drove them. I didn't know people used them.
Yeah.
And I had this coworker who started using it around February. And it was he said he would drive to the metro station. Oh, metro station.
There you go.
Shake it. And he would drive to the metro station and ride the rail to like downtown Austin, and it was about a 15-minute walk to the office. And he thought it was this great idea. He was like, I'm avoiding traffic. I'm not using gas money. This is great. It took all of 4 days in May.
Yeah.
That 15-minute walk to and for him to be like, I will never use the metro again because I am drenched in sweat every time I walk here.
This city isn't a driving city because it has to be. It's not a driving city because of the size and the scope. It's a driving city because you can't walk outside without wanting to kill yourself.
Yeah. Or actually risking
or kill somebody else.
Yeah. One of the three.
One of the three.
Yeah.
I do think that, like, we sauna all the time, and it doesn't hold a candle to the humidity
of just walking.
Stifling,
I would rather sit in a sauna for 45 minutes than walk 15 minutes to and from the metro station.
I'm convinced to this day the only reason they didn't put the Capitol in Houston is because they finally got there and they were like, holy
wow,
cow,
let's go back.
This was a bad idea. Let's go back to Waterloo.
It's crazy to think that Austin is a happy medium because you can go to West Texas.
Yeah.
Like go to El Paso.
Go to El Paso, yeah.
And then it's super, super, super dry heat. And also like the wind. Like there's no blockage from the wind.
You've got no...
You could go to Lubbock, but everyone would laugh at you.
Yeah.
And so...
How is Lubbock still a thing?
Because tech is there. I get like Pat Mahomes, I think, gave it some relevance.
I hear a lot of people are moving there lately.
Well, it's because you can buy a house for like $20.
Sure. It's also very easy to navigate.
Very.
I'm always going to make fun of Lubbock, but it is actually not the worst city in the world. It's just extremely boring.
Very. Well, and they do that thing where they're like... We're the coolest city.
Yeah, look how cool we are.
Look how cool we are. We love it. We have deer. And it's like,
I remember
real lame.
I went there for a Christmas work party years ago.
Yeah.
When I was working with a tech company.
Centuries ago.
And they had just put in an Alamo draft house. and it was like, everybody there was like, isn't this amazing? Can you believe it? Lubbock has an Alamo draft house.
And like everyone in Lubbock was like, wait. You're telling me you can order food
at a movie theater
while the picture's playing?
Holy cow.
I didn't even know we had a movie theater.
They were like, oh my God, movies come in color now?
Yeah. They were like, the parking lot's paved? This is crazy.
How did I get here?
Running a small business is incredibly hard when you have no idea how to market it or brand it clearly. Small business owners, small business operators across the country work so hard to make products and services that they are proud of, but almost always hit a plateau in growth. That's why Creators Collective is here to help. For years, we have helped businesses triple, quadruple, even 5 times their revenue by creating branding and marketing content that clarifies your brand and drives sales. So if you are at a bottleneck or at a plateau, trying to grow your small business, even stay in business, make sure to visit creatorscollective.us right now. Schedule a call so we can find out what services you need, how we can work with you, and make sure that we can boost your bottom line so that you can grow as a business. What happened once upon a time in Texas history?
Once upon a time in Texas history, a magazine was established.
Oh, which one?
Well,
is this relevant to conversations we've been having off mic?
It might be. This famous magazine, this storied magazine that tells beautiful tales of the high plains and the Wild West, Texas Monthly.
Oh, nice.
Was founded reputable journalists work there, all from Texas for sure.
Yeah.
Texas Monthly was founded in 1973 by a man named Michael R. Levy and has been published by Emmis Publishing LP since 1998.
Okay.
And is now owned by Enterprise Products Co. And it chronicles life in Texas.
So a lot going there.
Politics, life, cities, those types of
things. Whole thing. Has a couple, the Texas Barbecue Edition.
Yeah. If you're listening, you know what Texas Monthly is.
Yeah.
And it is historically a fantastic magazine that talks all about the people in Texas and the things happening and why it's such a beautiful, interesting state.
Yeah.
And historically.
Yeah.
And it is, growing up, we would go to Dad's office for various reasons. And I always remember...
Well, to clean it.
I mean, that was later in life.
Yeah.
But we'd go to Dad's office and clean it. I always remembered that Texas Monthly was such a mainstay.
Yeah.
And no matter where you went in Andrews, Texas, somebody's coffee table had Texas Monthly.
Yeah. It was a fun magazine.
And you always had the most interesting stories about small town people, finance bros in Dallas doing their thing, rodeo.
Well, I mean, it
next
was,
to each other.
the TV, I'm pretty sure the TV show Dallas was based on a story from Texas Monthly. Yeah. The movie Bernie based on a
story from Texas Monthly.
The podcast, the very famous, well, they have great podcasts too. Tom Brown's Body was based initially
on
Skip Hollandsworth's articles in Texas Monthly.
What?
The new, I mean, I hate that a lot of these are murder based, but Texas Killing Fields, based on a book.
Yeah.
And that was based on an article that was in Texas Monthly.
It has been the springboard for a lot of really amazing ideas.
Yeah,
and really great writers as well.
Yeah.
Boomtown's an amazing podcast.
Being rolled into Landman. Bass Reeves.
Oh, yeah.
Is being rolled into. Shouts out Christian Wallace.
Shouts out Christian
We're
Wallace.
going to say some stuff in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
None of it is relevant to Christian Wallace.
Honestly, no. And
none of it.
And we'll bring him up again, but just real quick, we do want to say he is a family friend. We've known him since we were kids. Truly, I think Christian Wallace is one of the best writers working today.
Yeah, in general.
Yeah. And
has the credits to back it up.
And specifically his coverage of West Texas, of Texas life is so unique and so beautiful that I would challenge anybody to.
Yeah. One, to pay homage to the place that raised you, the way he has, as he is, grown more and more in notoriety as a writer, is really, really cool. His recent article on Robert Earl Keen, the cover story, so good. We had the pleasure actually of singing "Merry Christmas" from the family.
Yeah.
In front of him, because we just happened to be.
We went to
Egos. Shouts out Egos right off South Congress. Karaoke 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. every night. And yeah, we just happened to be there when the Texas Monthly staff was there. Again, nothing that we say in the next 10 minutes refers to
our friend Christian.
Our dear friend Christian.
Yeah.
Before we get there, do you want to know who our Texas badass is?
I do want to know who our
Texas badass is Jason David Frank.
Okay.
Otherwise known as Tommy. From Power Rangers.
The
White Ranger, the leader of the group. Whatcha? He was a legitimate,
he was a martial artist.
A legitimate martial artist, did a couple of MMA fights, mixed results.
He ran a school in Dallas, right?
In Houston. So he was born in California, but was raised in Texas.
Yeah.
He did pass away recently. It was a whole thing back early November. Passed away
pretty young.
I mean, he wasn't even 50 yet. He was 49. His amateur MMA record was 4 wins, 2 by knockout, 2 by submission.
Nice.
Had 4 kids. He also went 1-1 professionally as a professional MMA fighter. But yeah, he was cast as the role of Tommy Oliver, the Green Ranger initially. The role was set for 14 episodes, but due to the popularity of the character, he was brought back as the White Ranger to lead the new team.
And he eventually was also the Red Ranger.
Yeah, it kind of bleeds into the Red Ranger. He is the only original cast member to sort of
bounce
throughout multiple Ranger groups.
Yeah.
He reprised the role in the 2004 Dino Thunder Power Rangers movie. He reprised it for the 10th anniversary episode as the Forever Red and Power Rangers Wild Force. He came back in Power Rangers Super Mega Force.
Yeah.
And then also, he had a cameo role in the 2017 film Power Rangers. So he just sort of
Rangers. Dude, I wanted to be a Power Ranger so bad.
So bad. The movie was so
literally
good.
Why I started doing Taekwondo.
Yeah, you have black belt in Taekwondo.
I am,
he ran
strip mall karate, as I like to call it.
I mean, it was legitimate.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
For sure. It's also Andrew, so you can't say strip mall.
You can't say, that's
boutique shop.
I just think because there was a strip club.
Yeah, because Jags was 20 miles away.
Shout out to Mr. Raymond for
teaching me. Mr. Raymond.
Shout out to Mr. Raymond and Mr. Estrada for teaching me how to kick things.
Yeah, we had a boneyard of wooden boards and cement
when
blocks.
I would from practice.
Yeah, well, your friends would come over from
and we
school,
would just and
they'd be like, dude, the kick thing. We were just kicking boards.
We just see how many I could do.
It was awesome.
It was fun. All because of Power Rangers.
Yeah, he unfortunately did pass away recently, November 19th, 2022 in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
He also, not only people know this, he created his own style of
martial art,
of karate, of martial art, Tuso Kundo.
Karate.
So he had his own studio. He lived in Humble, had his own studio in Houston where he taught Toso Kundo. Yeah, another form of Taekwondo. So yeah, the White Ranger. Originally the Green Ranger, and then the White Ranger, sometimes the Red Ranger. Tommy.
He was always the coolest. That was
everyone wanted. That's why they kept bringing him back. That's why they kept trying to recreate.
They brought him in as the bad guy.
Yeah, and that didn't work.
And collectively every child in America was like, no, he's cool.
No, he's cool. That's a cool. Yeah, he's. I remember as a kid seeing Tommy.
He's the first anti-hero I remember.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And it still didn't work because we were like, this guy's cool.
He summons his giant sword from the like, playing the ocarina. yeah.
Well, and it's just crazy to think back to the original Power Rangers. Because I remember it was supposed to be Rocky. Like Rocky the Red Ranger was supposed to be the cool one.
Yeah.
And then there was, I think Ben was the
nerd.
The nerd.
Yeah, the Blue Ranger.
And like, you know, but Rocky was supposed to be the centerpiece. And this Green Ranger guy is just floating on the corner. And you're like, that.
Well, and they messed up because they, you know, all the other Rangers, red, blue, green, black, yellow, pink, had everything look kind of the same. Their suits were just kind of the spandex. And then the Green Ranger comes out with like these
shoulder pads and had like the Jaguar face.
So you're just like, well, obviously,
this clearly the writers are like, well,
you know what? We
just gave this guy a career.
Oh man, yeah.
So I'll leave it to a Texan to be on the periphery and somehow float all the way to the center.
Yeah.
So Jason David Frank, R.I.P.
Hey.
You are our
thank you for informing
Texas badass. Once again, we're coming to you live from Pouch 6 Q6 Studios here in Austin, Texas. Recently named the Texas Monthly
Bum Steer of the Year.
Which was
now let's explain the award really quick.
Yeah, so the award I did a lot of research. I didn't research the first Bum Steer, like what are the origins of it.
Yeah.
But notoriously, famously, every year Texas Monthly releases its Bum Steer of the Year. It's kind of its it's a little fun, playful, like the Texas Village Idiot of the year. Last year it was Craig Abbott.
And then Ted Cruz was also
Ted Cruz has been a bum steer. Yeah,
which makes sense.
Yeah, there's most of the time the bum steer is like,
I will even say in this case, making Austin, Texas the bum steer makes logical sense
in some ways. But this is the year that Uvalde happened. Yeah, and I would understand if in the writer's room they were like, well, that, it would cause some pain with Alex Jones, Sandy Hook stuff going on. But even the Uvalde Police Department make it the police department,
I mean, that's my point.
For sure.
And they even had some good, like, because they always list the like backups that they pitched.
Yeah.
And
they covered their butt a little bit. You watch it because they had the Texas Democratic Party leader as the like runner-up. So I see what they did there.
Yeah, same.
We took the time to read the article.
We did.
Because, you see...
And they make some good points.
But they're mute points.
But they don't matter because the biggest point that they made was about the lack of diversity.
Yes, which we have talked about on this podcast. We make fun of Austin a decent amount for being falsely...
It is a city that deserves to be made fun of occasionally.
Yeah. We're the better version of Portland in a lot of ways.
I think so.
Like
we're at least more accessible and the weather is a little better.
Yeah, exactly. But we're just as white.
So whenever you as an organization decide to take a stand against something and point it out as a problem, it might be helpful for somebody to run the numbers.
Yeah, because we were having a text chain with one of our friends who will remain nameless, wonderful friend, and I read through the article and it's pretty quick that there's that, whether it's from the right or the left, there's always this kind of like off-putting tone with these types of articles. It's very like high and mighty. Here's what we're writing and we're correct. And it's everything I'm about to say
know better than you.
Yeah. I'm writing this because I'm a journalist and I know more than everybody. So it's an oracle. I'm bringing the knowledge to you.
It's like, sweetheart, you didn't know.
You should read the smart one. I had to dumb this down for you. So it has that tone already. So it's a little like,
it's so condescending.
Oh yeah. I could have just used the word condescending just now. I am dumb. I can't think of big words.
Not sponsored by
vocabulary. Stupid. So, it opens with the tone.
Yes.
And I'm reading it and there's, some pieces about how dumb are we to be opening a surf park because of all the water problems. There's legit water problems. Well, meanwhile, there's articles praising Inland Surf Park, which is the original surf park that opened in Austin in 2016. I pulled an article where Texas Monthly is like, look, we have a surf park. Isn't Austin cool?
And were we not having water problems?
Yeah, were there no water?
Was there zero concern about that?
Wait, Lake Travis was at its record low in 2016.
Oh, no.
So it's a problem. So we're facing. Okay, we get it. All right, cool.
All right, fine.
So we're making points about water now.
We're allowed to change our mind.
Fine, change your mind.
Cool, change your mind.
And then we get to the point that I hope we're not going. But
we knew it was coming.
It says, recruiting tech companies that are disproportionately white.
Verbatim, that's what it says.
Disproportionately white, which has caused the already lack of diversity to go down. And it points out that the African-American population in Austin has gone from 7% to 6% because of the tech companies.
They name the tech companies specifically.
And their too white culture coming here.
Yeah.
I looked at LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm. You did the work.
I did the work. It took me an hour. Sorry, Alec. A little distracted. I'm gonna pull up the text so that I get it exactly right.
Because you know what? I would understand if somebody was trying to demonstrate a better way to go about doing business.
Yeah.
I love it whenever people say, hey, here's a problem that I see, and then they make efforts to fix it themselves within their own lives or their own organization.
Yeah. Or when it's coming, if it was coming from the NAACP Austin chapter, like, hey, this disproportionately white city and these companies, they'd be like, they probably. Texas Monthly on LinkedIn, there's 178 employees on LinkedIn. 155 are white. 155 are white.
So I'm also a little dumb. Do you think that's disproportionate?
That seems pretty disproportionate.
That seems pretty
again.
Okay.
It's
that's
reflecting the lack of diversity in the city they're in, but it's a little weird when they're 1978 is when they started.
Yeah.
So they've had a while.
They've had a minute.
They've had a while to address what we culturally seem to see as an issue when any company, big or small, is mostly staffed by white people.
And I'm curious about something. How many writers do they have on staff?
So I just looked at writers at large.
Sure, at large.
So these aren't staff writers. These are they're writers at large. Writers. People that they're like, look at these writers who take the time.
So these aren't even the people that are core to their organization. These are people they select.
These are S.C. Gwynn's one of them. Skip. Well, he's actually on staff. But who they list on the Texas Monthly website as writers at large.
Yeah.
20 out of 23 are white.
Interesting.
And 18 of those 20 are white males older than 50. So for this whole trope that the left really loves to latch on to of old white men are the problem.
Yeah.
And you have this tone of, look at us, we're a left-leaning magazine that has all these left-leaning points. Your writers at large are mostly white men. So
not only are they disproportionately white men over the age of 50, they don't even match the demographic because, as you pointed out in your own article, we dropped from 7% to 6% black representation, and I don't know how many of the three you named are black.
Well, no, here's what was really fun. Okay. So, and here's Texas.
Sure, yeah.
Is a lot of our diversity comes from the Mexican-American population. Yes. There were 2 Hispanic writers. Of the 23 writers at large. 3. There were no African-American writers at large.
So would you say that their African-American representation is lacking?
It's again, it's probably reflective of the lack of diversity across the whole city.
But it's not proportionally lacking. It's actually less than what you would expect based on the city's demographics.
The weird thing that stuck out to me was the tech companies of the product, because they moved in here.
It's a tech company. You're right.
Yeah,
right.
They moved here and they brought their lack of diversity with them.
It couldn't possibly be the organization that started here and has been here since 1970s.
Its roots are in Austin and in Texas. And
that's really weird.
According to your own company website, the bulk of your employees, whether they're writers or social media managers, are white. I don't care.
That's actually kind of the
care
point,
in this moment. Like,
here's why I care. I care because you said it was important.
Yeah. And you pointed out, like, Austin's a problem. Right. Austin's our bum steer. Here's one of the problems. It's disproportionately white.
You implied that the disproportionate white representation caused the other problems.
Which is just false.
Completely inaccurate.
Like, when your own organization fails to represent the thing that you're holding up as a virtue.
You say is important.
You don't get to write articles anymore.
I'm really sorry. I'm sorry, guys. Bleep this out. Right off.
Bleep it out, please. Sorry, mom and mom-in-law.
Anyway.
My mom-in-law, so you don't have to worry.
And we haven't gotten into this part yet.
It's the part that stuck out the most.
But that's the part that sticks out.
We were like, because I was looking for it.
Yeah.
When the tone is so clear from the get-go,
so
of like,
clearly condescending.
Also, the guy who wrote the article, white.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. Is he actually from Texas?
From what I looked into, no.
So an interesting thing about Texas Monthly and their writers, how many are from Texas?
Like 3 or 4 from Texas, and born and raised in Texas.
The best born and raised Texas writer now lives in Louisiana.
Because he's a great husband.
Because he's a great husband.
But
my point remains. You're driving the people that you want to work at your magazine away.
So there's that. Yeah. We're looking at the diversity from a,
So fine, you know what? Call Austin the bum steer of the year.
And then little things, right? One of their lines is like home of overpriced barbecue. Right. You make the top
you literally
50
make the
barbecue list.
Hey,
it's
how many of the top 10 are in? Four of them. How many of those are affordable?
0 of them.
Exactly.
0. And how many of them are Micklethwaite? None of them.
None.
So you don't even know what good barbecue is. I'm just kidding. Interstellar, they're all great.
They're all really, yeah.
But, and I just went ahead and did some more research.
Yeah, let's go.
Over the last 5 years on the barbecue thing, there had been at least 4, max 6 barbecue joints based in Austin in the top 10. That is what drives the price of barbecue up. I went to Panther City in Fort Worth this weekend.
Really, really affordable.
Number 8 or 9 this past year. Still affordable.
Yeah.
So, hey, Texas Monthly.
If you want barbecue prices to go down, stop making the list or just leave Austin out of it. It's your fault, partially. So what we're coming back to is if you think Austin is so bad, you're part of the problem.
If not perpetuating it. Because let's also not forget, if we're going to just stereotype here.
Sure.
I am stereotyping. It's on the record. Yeah. We have it on video.
But by the way, this is feelings, no facts. There's some facts, but this is
no. Wait. What you just said? Sorry. It took me an hour and a half out of my workday to pull these facts. I got so obsessed with this that I pulled facts. This is the most researched episode. This is the most researched episode we've ever done. So every under-researched person can suck it. This has been researched.
This is also just the most angry I've ever been.
It's also public knowledge. You can go check me on all of this. Texas Monthly. Check yourself on all of this. Update your LinkedIn profile.
For dear God.
Yeah.
Maybe hire some black people.
Sorry, you just triggered me by saying all feelings, no facts.
I heard it come out, and I was gonna. I knew you jumped on it. Lots of feelings.
Some facts.
Some pretty good research.
Some good mostly Gunner did facts. Because I wanted to come on here and be able to say I looked twice
exactly.
So yeah, because initially I thought our friend was the only Texas writer. That's not true. There are other writers from Texas, but for the most part, if we're gonna talk about lack of diversity from an even where they're from standpoint. The bulk of the staff at Texas Monthly, the magazine that is explicitly about Texas, is staffed mostly by people from the Northeast.
And here's why we're not sponsored by Intellectual Hypocrisy. I truly believe that if you move here from somewhere else and you make this your home, you are a Texan. So that's
part of the Texas spirit.
To be betrayed by the people that we welcome and want to come here and make this their home feels so shitty.
Yeah. Well, also, again, intellectual hypocrisy. If we're going to talk about tropes and stereotypes, starting right now, I'm stereotyping. Feelings, no facts here.
Okay, cool.
Most journalists and people who work at clearly a place like Texas Monthly are upper middle class. From upper middle class families. Nothing wrong with that. I personally don't see it as a problem.
That's part of the goal.
You can't. I can't blame you for what you're born into. Have your money.
As well as like earning your
are well educated, whether it is from Carnegie Mellon University or NYU or Harvard or UT.
Yeah.
And again,
both great education.
Most journalists receive highly touted, very expensive educations. They are
high-level degrees.
They are part of these more liberal leaning think tanks that are now universities, in my opinion. And then they move to really cool places like Austin, like New York, like Portland.
And then they
none of these people wanted to work at the Boston Globe.
No.
It's historic, but Boston's not cool.
Yeah.
They came here.
Because it was
and also 2 years ago wrote an article about how optimistic they are about the future of Austin.
And name it within the article itself.
The restaurants are really cool and really hip. The bars are kind of grungy, but it's fun and we can go out to Barbarella and it's this cool place and the music is live and it's this awesome place to be.
What changed?
You don't get to write an article about Austin being the bum steer because of all of the things that you in your own outlet listed as reasons for it being cool. Don't complain about houses being driven up in price and finding nowhere to live and traffic sucking when
you're the reason people want to come.
You're the reason people want to come here.
And you're the people coming here and making that shit happen.
Also, your office is here.
Yeah.
bleep out. Trying really hard.
Oh yeah.
Like, it
I don't
just,
even care at this
it
point.
It doesn't sit well with me that the magazine that has Texas on the cover in his office right here in this town gets to call Austin the bum steer of the year for reasons
when they're part of the problem
that they perpetuate. They're part of the problem. That would be like us coming on Texish and saying Austin sucks.
Yeah.
We live here.
We live here.
We like it here.
I like Austin.
Like, it's a fun place.
And not to say, look, I'm going to take just a second to say that there are some good points within the article. Yes, the population explosion has caused housing prices to go way too high, way too fast. It's pushing people out of places they've lived forever, and that's not necessarily a good thing. It's causing traffic to be pretty insane. The urban sprawl is getting pretty ridiculous. So, and you're going to lose, because of COVID and all the other things, some of the uniquely Austin things that we all love and want to share. But don't come crying to me when you can't park at Barton Springs because you started writing about how cool Austin is.
Yeah. And again,
that's on you.
You're getting out of Austin what you wanted out of it.
Exactly. You wanted it to grow. You wanted more of your liberal friends to move here.
And now they're here.
And they brought their bland chain restaurants with them.
It's your fault.
Sorry.
It's your fault.
Get over it.
So, yeah, we just, at this podcast, we want to come out and say that we believe that the Bum Steer of the Year award went to the wrong thing.
We do.
And that the bulk of the article is null and void.
And I got to say, man, I took a long walk this afternoon with a friend, and we were going around Lady Bird Lake. Really great walking trail. Beautiful day today. The weather is perfect. Clear skies, about 70 degrees. The leaves have changed, and we sat down on one of the benches and we could see downtown Austin, which is absolutely changing. And that's not a bad thing. And we sat there in perfect silence, watching the weather. And I just felt so blessed at the beauty of the city and all the memories that I have here, and knowing that tonight I'm going to go see a comedy show and maybe I'll catch some live music afterwards. And I'm going to find a bar that I've never been to that's kind of grungy and fun, because all the things you love still exist. You just did a really good job of selling it.
Yeah. So, have your pie and eat it too. And from the other side, the article is right in a lot of ways. And there are people who have decided that for their future, they don't want to live here.
Yeah.
So they're looking for other places to live, and they're moving. Yeah. If you're going to complain about it,
fucking move.
Move. If you're going to write an article about all these things that you're perpetuating, shut up or move.
Or at the very least, consider your tone.
Not even consider your tone. No. Just be self-aware.
Sure, be self-aware.
On Texas Monthly, right here. We will tag you in this post. We're going to screenshot your workforce and put it on the internet with your quote of disproportionately white. Change it in the next year, or don't write the same article.
Thanks, guys.
Bye y'all.